After we have explored what's going on around the site, what we'll do next is we'll move on to the property itself, and we'll start looking at, we'll start defining the needs of the project itself. And this is going to fall into two key categories. The first is bus operations. How does a bus move onto the site, move up to a passenger island, drop off passengers, pick up new passengers, and then safely move off the site back into the city, onto the streets, and out into the transit network. The other key item we're going to look at is the program. What are the rooms and the spaces and the functionality of the buildings themselves, inside the buildings as well as around the buildings on the transit islands. So speaking to the bus operations, something we need to understand from a mathematical standpoint is what are the turning radiuses of the buses, of the vehicles that are going to be using the site. This is a turning radius diagram of a 60-foot bus, and it just gives us some very important but basic information about what do the turning lanes, what do the aisles, and how do the transit islands, the passenger islands, need to be configured to accommodate the movement of the buses. The next element, obviously, is the program. And what we're doing here is we're identifying what spaces need to be involved in a project or need to be included in a transit agency or in a transit facility, and we're also looking at what type of spaces these are. We've grouped them basically into, you can sort of consider these departments. Public spaces, like a waiting area, and the restrooms and corridors, as well as retail spaces, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit, and services. These are basically the back of house areas, electrical rooms, telecommunication rooms, and things. We've identified the sizes. This is basically the square footage, the area required based on the needs of the project for these spaces. So the retail areas are varying in size, and this is not unusual in transit, but it is something that this transit agency very much wanted. Is if you're going to build a transit facility anyway, integrating some small areas, some alcoves and smaller rooms where the transit agency could lease out or rent out tenant space to businesses that could come in and provide a service that would be good for the passengers as well as to the as a whole, it would just be beneficial to everyone involved, and would be a revenue generation source for the transit agency. So once we have an understanding of what's going on with the bus operations and with the functional needs with the program, what we'll do is we'll start building a very basic Revit model. This is just a massing model. We're going to show the streets, we're going to show the adjacent buildings, which is what we looked at on the Google Maps earlier. And we're going to start laying out bus transit islands. This is where the passengers are going to be, and the buses would move around these islands to pick up, drop off the passengers. And we'll also look at what is the size of the, what type of a building are we looking at? What's the footprint of it, as well as how tall does it need to be? Now that we have an understanding of the program, we can start laying out the building. So in this case, what we're studying is a series of east-west bus islands, and we're looking at a very large singular structure to the north of the site to house the transit operations. With the building on the north, we can also look at what happens if we move the building to the center of the site and leave transit operations to the north and the south. And obviously you can look at an option where you put the building on the south. Another option that we looked at, a very basic study again, is we saw earlier in the massing of the city that the density is to the south and to the west. So in this case, along the western edge of the site, we would build a larger mass, so a larger building, that would maintain the density of the core along the street. And another option you could look at is here again we have these traditional east-west transit islands where the buses are moving through. And on a diagonal above it, we would locate a building which would house the transit operations as well as some additional development opportunities for the agency. And then the passengers would just drop down from here onto the individual islands to either get to their buses or to get from the buses back out to the city. And then from these corner keystone points, you could then move out into the city.